It's a strange truth. Our moments of despair can also be our most enlightening. Why do the times that break us down also have the power to build us up in ways we never expected? In every crisis, a labyrinth of the soul unfolds, a bewildering maze where darkness and light dance in the shadows. Each step a voyage towards deeper understanding. Within the eye of this storm, the intense pressure and the friction of life's trials have a peculiar magic to reveal the unvarnished truth of our being beyond the masks we wear. Just as the fiercest winds strip the leaves from the trees, laying bare their sturdy branches, so too does a crisis strip away the pretense from our lives, revealing the raw strength of our inner timber. In today's exploration, we will traverse the rugged terrain of hardship, and we will delve into the enigmatic paradox that at the pinnacle of our pain, a doorway opens to unfathomable insight and growth. A profound alchemy occurs in these moments, where the depths of despair become the crucible for transformation. So let us embark on this Odyssey together, seeking the luminescence concealed within the heart of darkness, and discovering how the trials that dismantle our composure can craft the very foundations for a heightened, healing awakening. Imagine, if you will, a tempest that rages with a primal force, disrupting the sympathetic rhythm of our lives. This is the essence of a crisis, a maelstrom that breaks upon the shores of our reality, relentless and without prejudice. It arrives sometimes with the sudden ferocity of an untamed beast, toppling what once seemed impervious, shredding through the canvas of our meticulously crafted lives, leaving us to gather the torn fragments in our tremulous hands. As it tears through our world, it forces us to confront the dormant parts of our essence and ensnares us in the raw immediacy of life. In these moments, we are compelled to face the darkest caverns of our souls, to explore the labyrinthine complex of our inner selves that we meticulously shield from the daylight of our everyday consciousness. It thrusts us into a theater of vulnerability, where the roles we play and scripts we follow are of no solace. With the subtlety of thunder, a crisis beckons, and we witness ourselves, bereft of the grandeur of titles and possessions, standing in the stark nakedness of our humanity. This is the crucible of transformation, and within its fierce embrace, we encounter our own heartbeat, echoing against the void of uncertainty. In its reflection, our strengths are thrown into stark relief against the backdrop of adversity, like radiant beams that pierce the shadow realm of our fears. Let me paint you a portraiture of the spirit, my friends. In the most harrowing hour, note the tenacious grip of your will, the staunch posturing of your backbone against the tempest's roar. See how you, even fragmented, are a mosaic of survival and wisdom, born from strife. For just as the phoenix arises from ashes, bearing the beauty of its flames in the brilliance of its rebirth, so too do you harbor a divine fire within the crucible of your trials. Behold, in this unwelcome and unsparing pilgrimage, the astonishing realization that the person you thought you were, the capacitated, the timid, was but a waning shadow of the valiant soul you truly are. Your hidden metal, like buried treasure in the deep, surfaces to the fore, a revelation of the strength entwined with the filaments of your being. And so too are your weaknesses uncloaked, tender and innumerable, yet they, in their unveiling, afford you the rare gift of genuine self-knowledge and the invitation to grow. As the crisis tears through the veils, sowing salt upon our wounds, look how it also stitches wisdom into the fabric of our being. Through its merciless subtraction, it gifts us with the profoundness of perspective, the cherishing of fleeting moments, and the ability to discern the essential from the consequently trivial. It endows our spirit with the fortitude of an ancient tree, roots sunk deep into the earth, branches kissing the boundless sky, at once open to the whims of fate, yet unyieldingly rooted in the truth of self. In the sheer rapture of this tumult, we learn to dance with our own shadows, to embrace the totality of our existence, blemishes etched into the grand design. Thus I invite you, as apprentices to your own metamorphosis, to not cower from the visage of crisis, but to look upon it as a stern yet sacred instructor, a guidepost to the galaxies residing within you, unfathomed, unexplored, rich with the stardust of potential. This journey through chaos into the calm of understanding is a pilgrimage worthy of your courage. I urge you, take heart, my fellow travelers. The passage may be fraught with pain and pocked with despair, yet it is also lined with the promise of an emergence. One where you stand, not as you were, but as the embodiment of your courage, wisdom, and newfound resiliency. With each step through this transformative Odyssey, remember that within you flows the power to transmute the darkest night into the dawn of your most radiant self. In the heart of crisis, there emerges a mirror most unforgiving and yet most faithful. This mirror does not reflect our skin, our appearances, or the facades we raise against the world. Instead, it reflects the core of our existence, the rawness of our true self, untamed by the expectations of society, uncolored by the shades of pretense we so often don in daily life. This stark reflection can be disconcerting, yet it is within this transparency that we encounter the purest truth. Like the ancients who sought wisdom in the depths of still waters, we too find ourselves staring into the reflective pool of our soul, where every ripple tells the tale of our internal storms and struggles. It is here, in the solitary confrontation with our essence, that we begin to understand the spiritual adage, as above, so below, as within, so without. Spiritual traditions from the world over have long articulated the notion that times of profound challenge summon forth the spirit's might. When life as we know it is set ablaze, the ashes serve not merely as the remnants of loss, but also as the fertile ground for the emergence of the authentic self. Similarly, scientific research offers a glimpse into this profound metamorphosis through the concept of stress-induced growth or post-traumatic growth, where substantial personal development flourishes on the battlegrounds of adversity. What do these trials reveal? Not merely the endurance of our character, but the elasticity of our spirit, the hidden reservoirs of fortitude that before this crucible lay untapped and unrecognized. Crisis dares to question the essence of our identity, stripping layers until what remains is the undiluted essence of our being. It is as though every belief, every value, every thread of our self-narrative is examined, weighed and tested in the trial by fire that is life's tumultuous chapters. And then there comes the herald of what many would call the dark night of the soul, a period of spiritual desolation and existential contemplation, where the sense of separation from the divine, or what may constitute as one's sense of meaning and inner coherence, seems vast and unbridgeable. This phrase, first coined by the 16th century Spanish mystic and poet St. John of the Cross, speaks of a journey that may confront us with the profound sense of disconnection, an ordeal that relentlessly questions our deeply held beliefs. But within this dark night, a doorway opens to a sanctuary of self-awareness. Here is the sacred chamber where one meets the self in its most undisguised form, the self that loves, fears, screams and dreams. This terrifying yet transformative experience is not one of punishment, but rather an initiation into a profounder walk with the self and, in essence, with all of existence. This emergence is not mere philosophy, it is the lived experience of countless souls who, having braved the inferno of their crises, emerged transformed. They come bearing the testimony that within the chasms of their despair, they discovered well springs of wisdom and compassion, a vigorous reconnection to life, a renaissance of purpose. Let us then, in these shadowed moments, remember that we face not simply the end of something. We are at the precipice of profound self-discovery and communion with the truth within us. It is within the embrace of crisis that we shed the chrysalis of our former selves and emerge, with wings unfurled, into the being that we were always meant to become. Our truest selves await us on the other side of the tempest, serene and radiant with the light of understanding, bearing the insights that only a journey through night can bestow. There is a profound unraveling that occurs just before the dawn of new comprehension, a psychological and spiritual undoing that often precedes the revelation of a breakthrough. Consider the image of a seed buried in darkness, its exterior shell breaking down to allow the emergence of new life. There's a breaking down, a necessary dissolution, a disintegration of the known, and within this deconstruction, space is being cleared. The fertile ground is being prepared for the sprouting of new perspectives and the unfurling of the spirit's potential. This breakdown is not a gentle process. It can be tumultuous and chaotic, akin to the way a caterpillar must surrender its previous form to the chrysalis before the emergence of the butterfly. In our lives, crisis serves as the chrysalis stage, an interim of complete and often distressing transformation that serves an essential purpose. The structures of our life, the belief systems, and the habitual patterns that we've solidified over time can begin to feel like a prison when they no longer serve the greater purpose of our evolution. Crisis shatters these ancient walls, revealing the limitations of our prior convictions and inviting us to rebuild more authentically. Psychologically, this process can induce an existential re-evaluation. It forces a confrontation with what Carl Jung referred to as the shadow self, those elements of our personality we have consciously or unconsciously deemed undesirable and repressed. The shadow is not to be feared, but to be understood, for within its bounds lie the seeds of our growth, the elements of ourselves that need to be acknowledged and integrated for whole being wellness. Crisis illuminates these shadows, and while it may seem like we are coming undone, we are merely shedding the layers that obscure our true nature. Spiritually, the breakdown is akin to the ancient alchemical phase of nigredo, or blackening, a necessary descent into darkness that precipitates purification. Many wisdom traditions view this disintegration as a rite of passage. It is believed to be an inward journey that each person must take to emerge reborn with a profound sense of connection to all life. This inner alchemy transmutes the soul, converting pain into purpose, confusion into clarity, and loss into an understanding of impermanence and interconnectedness. This necessity for collapse is rooted in the knowledge that growth is an expansive force, and often the old foundations can't withstand the pressure of new dimensions. Old beliefs constrict, former priorities misalign, and outdated narratives bind us into repeating cycles that yield the same fruitless outcomes. Crisis, then, is the tempest that uproots the dead trees to allow sunlight to reach the forest floor, where new saplings await their turn to touch the sky. It is in the very depths of crisis that we are given the opportunity to ask profound questions. Who am I beyond the structures and roles I've built around me? What truly matters when the extraneous is stripped away? It is here, amidst the wreckage of former certainties, that we discover the core of our spirit and what it has been yearning to express. Each shattered piece, each fragment that falls away, is an unburdening, a chance to let go of what no longer serves us and to reclaim the pieces of our soul that need to be nurtured back to life. While the breakdown may feel like an end, it is in truth the prelude to a powerful beginning. It's the clearing of the soil for a richer harvest, the unclogging of arteries, so that the blood of life can flow more freely. This stage prepares us not just to accept the new, but to actively co-create it, to engage with life not as passive recipients, but as dynamic architects of our reality. As we find ourselves amidst the throes of personal upheaval, let us remember that the disarray is not a sign of failure, but a messenger heralding the arrival of transformation. Our task is to listen, to allow, and to move through the chaos with the knowledge that on the other side, the soul awaits its next great adventure, one of greater understanding, deeper connection, and authentic truth. In the profound silence that follows the storm, where once there was a deluge, a sacred space is revealed, a space for healing and emergence. This transformative journey from the ash-strewn terrain of crisis to the verdant fields of restoration is where the soul, having broken open, begins to weave itself anew. The path to healing is both as ancient as the stars and as fresh as the morning dew, unique for every traveler, yet underpinned by universal truths that guide the way forward. Mindfulness emerges as a beacon on this path, a potent tool for navigating the aftermath of upheaval. In the practice of mindful awareness, we anchor ourselves in the present moment, the only terrain where healing can truly take root. This gentle anchor acts as a refuge and a sanctuary, providing a stable ground amidst the shifting sands of our external circumstances. Through mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, to sit with our pain, and to understand the impermanent nature of our condition. Meditation, in its myriad forms, offers a sanctum for the soul's renewal. The meditative state is a deep reservoir of calm, a wellspring within from which clarity and equanimity can be drawn. It introduces us to the quiet places within us, beyond the scurry of thought and the weight of despair. In the rhythmic cadence of breath, a wordless mantra, we find that our traumas and our ecstasies ebb and flow like the tides, and we are reminded that we hold within us an ocean of potentiality. Shadow work invites us to turn inward with the lantern of our attention, to explore the innermost caverns of our psyche where wounded parts of ourselves have retreated. This introspective pilgrimage allows us to face these hidden aspects, to understand their origins and the lessons they carry. By integrating our shadows, we cultivate a wholeness of being that transforms our wounds into sources of wisdom and strength. Community support acts as an invaluable pillar during times of healing. Human connectedness, the compassionate embrace of another's presence, can act like a balm on the bruised soul, offering solace, encouragement, and the shared strength of collective experience. In the kinship of fellow journeyers, we find mirrors that reflect back to us not our fragmentation, but our innate wholeness. Resilience is not simply endurance through the storm, it is the cultivation of a supple strength that allows us to adapt, learn and thrive in the wake of adversity. It is both forged in the fires of our trials and the soft whisper of hope that propels us forward. Resilient spirits can unflinchingly face the fallout of their crises and still discern the silver threads of potential weaving through the tapestry of their experience. With resilience comes the potential for rebirth. Here, the metaphoric death experienced in crisis leads to the birthing of new perspectives, behaviors, and identities. We are granted the opportunity to redefine ourselves, not through the lens of our pain, but through the vision of our learned courage and newfound insights. Rebirth is an act of creation, a conscious shaping of the self that emerges wiser and more genuine from the forge of suffering. This journey of healing and emergence is an odyssey, both personal and profound. It calls for the mobilization of every resource within us, practical tools of mindfulness, meditation, and shadow work paired with the spiritual balm of resilience, community, and rebirth. In each step toward healing, there is a rediscovery, a remaking of the soul's landscape that can only transpire through the passage of trials faced and overcome. Herein lies the alchemy of the human spirit, the extraordinary capacity to transform the very nature of our crises into stepping stones on the journey to our most authentic existence. As we reach the tranquil shores at the conclusion of today's journey through crisis and transformation, may you find solace in knowing that within every challenge lies the seed of an extraordinary opportunity for personal evolution. Crises are but chapters in the great story of your life, leading you toward that profound rebirth of spirit and self. Nurture those seeds with compassion, curiosity, and the courage to embrace change, and watch as the landscape of your life blossoms into something more beautiful and profound than ever before. Trust in the process, honor your pace, and remember that Sage Snippets is here, offering guidance and companionship along the way. If today's exploration has resonated with you, consider joining us further on this path of discovery. Subscribe, share your insights, and be a part of a growing community dedicated to embracing life's deepest lessons and rising to meet its grandest possibilities. Thank you for sharing this time with us. We look forward to continuing this journey together, seeking out the wisdom that lights our way to healing and wholeness. Until next time, be gentle with yourselves and keep seeking the serenity and strength that await within every experience.